job can be stressful at times, and you have to create a balance between managing your stress and keeping happy on the job. And I think you have to do that for anything you do, but sometimes on this job it's a little bit more than average, just due to the nature of some of the things we deal with.
Yes, this job is very stressful.
Sometimes it can be very stressful, or I guess some people would say extremely stressful. I always tell young law enforcement officers that if you can't handle stress, you're probably in the wrong line of work. You have to be able to cope with stress. You have to be able to handle internal how you feel about what's going on, and at the same time do your job.
I guess it really just depends on your personality. You can make it more stressful than it is, or you can make it less stressful. It honestly varies from call to call. If you get, for example, you can be sitting in your car eating a bag of chips for a snack, and then you're totally fine listening to music like a normal day, and you get a call that someone's got a gun and you got to go, get rid of them. Then, of course, you automatically are heightened and think, am I going home today? It becomes extremely stressful. It's always a high and low.
The starting salary is usually, it's been a long time since I've been a starting deputy, but it's pretty low for starting deputies. But when you build up, and I'm a sergeant in investigations, so usually my range is anywhere from $35,000 to $52,000, $53,000. So, somewhere in that range you could be if you were a sergeant on patrol, or if you were a sergeant in investigations like I am.
Unfortunately, the salary is not very high. Normal starting is about $34,000, so you're going to make about $14, $15 an hour starting out. And then once you have been there for a little while, as a normal officer, you're going to range from $36 to $37, which would be about $16, $17 an hour.
Usually, I'm scheduled for 40 hours a week, but with the nature of my job, doing major crimes investigation and being on call, I'm a member of the SWAT team, so I'm always on call. My hours could range from 43, 44 hours to 60 or 70 hours, depends on if anything bad happens.
As a police officer in Cartersville, the estimated hours you work are around 43, 44 a week. As an investigator, I usually work 40, but most of the time we work around 48 to 50 because of all the high call volume and stuff.
Probably dealing with a child death. That bothers you, of course, as a father or as a person. That bothers you when a child is dead, and sometimes that really gets to you when it's senseless, or if something tragic happened to the child that could have been avoided. I'd say those were the most emotional times in a law enforcement officer.
When I first came to Cartersville, I worked an accident where a child and a single mother and her child were hit by a CMV truck, an 18-wheeler, and the child did not survive. He was about 18 months old, so that was very emotional for me. It's the first time I've ever dealt with a child case, and that was hard.
My favorite part is helping people to, helping people to solve a crime is a good part of the job, or helping people feel that I've helped them understand that I've done all I can, or that I've made an arrest in their case, or I've recovered some of their property that was stolen, or the bad person that did something to their loved one is going to court and being charged with a crime. To me, those are rewarding experiences.
My favorite part of the job is people who like us and being able to help those people. It's nice when you do something good for someone and you get to see it later on. They come to you and they're like, thank you, you saved my life, or you helped me and you made a change. That's the best part.
Worst part of the job, I have to go back to the kids. I mean, if anytime a kid is injured, whether it's accidental or intentional, it really is hard on a lot of people, and it's really hard to stay focused on what you're doing, but we have to do it.
Probably when you know that someone's made a mistake, and that maybe they don't really mean to do what they did, but you still have to make sure that the law is abided by and do your job.
Sometimes I am, but I like to think that I take all the precautions that I can. I have good training, and I try to do everything like I'm supposed to, and I always am watchful for what's going on in a situation, and everything. I try to think ahead to the what-if situations. What if this happens? Am I ready for that? Or what if this happens? Am I ready for that? I think that keeps you prepared for what could happen.
Every day. I tell my kids every day that I want to leave on a good note, because this could be the day that I never come back home.
You have to be a very quick thinker. You have to be analytical in the way you think, whereas a normal person might look at a situation and think, somebody came in and stole my stuff. When I look at the situation, I'm thinking, how would I get in to steal this stuff? You got to be analytical. You got to think, how did the person do this, and what steps do I need to take to identify this person? So I'd say those were the best skills, and you have to be a people person because you have to talk to people.
To become an investigator, I feel like you need to have the experience of being on the road as an officer. You really can't make it to this position without having that skill of knowing the road and how to deal with people. And I also believe that you have to have a want to explore kind of in depth with things. As a patrol officer, you just show up, take the report, and handle what's happening on scene. As an investigator, you have to dive into it and look at other routes to solve the case.
No, I enjoy my job. I would enjoy any job in law enforcement just because that's the kind of person I am. I enjoy helping people and getting out talking to people, but I like where I'm at.
I love my job, honestly. A lot of people do not like this job, but definitely say I have a choice to go somewhere else, and I just don't want to. I love it.